Alexei Karenin is the husband of Anna, and he is a statesman, a bureaucrat in the government of some distinction. He's a very highly regarded man in society, very serious and devoutly religious, and as far as he thinks, at the beginning of the story, I think he's being a good husband. He's providing. He's loyal. He's not violent. If anything, he's physically very timid, and there's a sort of dullness to him, you could argue. He's a man who lives in his head. And really the journey of the film, as he's pulled by Anna into this world of gossip and emotion as she has an affair, is really the story of a man who learns to connect again with his heart and with his body, maybe with his soul somewhat. Well, I felt from the brilliant screenplay that Tom Stoppard took from this extraordinary novel, and from what Joe and I discussed, it was really important to us that one of the triumphs of it, and the reason it's such a timeless piece of work, is that the characters are complex and three-dimensional and all have flaws and all have moments of triumph. And so to paint Karenin really as the conventional bad guy and opponent, if you like, to Anna's love story is too simplistic and maybe puts even the wrong emphasis on the love story. And so we wanted to understand him. And I think also when you humanize someone, my sense was that he becomes suddenly real and not, like I said, sort of two-dimensional. And I really felt that when I read the book. I was certainly at times frustrated by him and frustrated by his clear rigidity of moral guidelines, but ultimately he was someone trying to understand and trying to forgive. And really by the end, his loyalty and his devotion and to look after what he put on the line and what he lost, I think was, he was the victim and ultimately triumphed really spiritually. And I think he deserves that portrayal. I hope it's not too far off what other people took, but that's certainly what I took and what we felt was interesting and what added to the story. One of the challenges was that simplicity, and I'm always looking to try new things, and I feel very comfortable in sometimes more physical and expressive roles, and it was nice to try something very different. Joe also created this beautiful world of bold colours and balletic movement and a lot of choreography, and it's a real dreamlike vision of that particular society in Russia. And within that, I wanted Karenin, to be calm and metronomic, and his rhythms to be very he's described as clockwork, so I wanted to minimalize everything. And also I think it helped portray the sort of introspection of his head and his inability to physicalize his emotions. I certainly hope, and looking at other actors' careers, that one's 40s, certainly for a man, maybe not so much for a woman, unfortunately, but for men, I think your 40s can be really fruitful. More emphasis on one's acting and on parts, and I suppose with age comes, complexity, and with complexity, for me, comes good roles. I'm kind of liberated by the prospect and excited by it, and I think the 20s and 30s for young actors and actresses can be minefields where you're kind of dodging labels of being, the new person on the block or the new face, and those aren't always things that actors necessarily want to deal with. Some do, but I never had any interest in that. So the prospect of getting into an era where it's just about the parts and the work is really, really exciting to me. I just hope they come my way. In the last few films, I feel like that's happened. Yeah, I do. So long may it last.